Absolutely massive momentum is building out in San Francisco. And no, this isn't just another overhyped offseason narrative or the latest overreaction from a 49ers message board. We're talking about legit national attention, spotlighting what might be one of the biggest draft steals of the entire class. But hold on, we'll get to that in a second, because right now, there's way too much going on in Santa Clara to ignore. From mandatory minicamp storylines to injury updates, quarterback talk, and even some kicker drama. Yes, kicker drama. There's no shortage of things to break down, and honestly, it's hard not to feel the energy surrounding this team right now. It's not just optimism. It's focused intensity, and for 49ers fans, that's something to get genuinely excited about. Let's start with something that might seem small on the surface, but says a whole lot if you read between the lines. The way Kyle Shanahan is handling the quarterback room right now. So, the media shows up to practice, right? They start keeping track. Who's throwing picks, who's clean, who looks sharp. Pretty standard stuff. But Shanahan, in a rare moment of pulling the curtain back, straight up says that if a quarterback goes through an entire set of off-season practices and never throws an interception, he's probably not getting better. Let that sink in for a second. According to the head coach himself, playing it too safe in these sessions might actually be a red flag. It's about pushing limits, testing throws, trying what you wouldn't dare try mid-season when the games count. So when Brock Purdy throws a couple picks in June, Shanahan's basically telling us, good. That's what this time is for. Now, of course, the very next day, Purdy goes out there and doesn't throw a single pick. So what does that mean? Did he tone it down? Was he being too cautious? Or is it just the natural ebb and flow of testing your limits? That's what makes this time of year so fascinating. Fans and media alike want to analyze every throw, every stat line, but Shanahan's message is clear. Development doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes, trying to become a better quarterback means making mistakes. If you're not throwing into tight windows, if you're not testing the coverage, then what are you really learning? Watching Purdy out there, it's not just about the picks. There's been noticeable zip on his throws, more velocity on the ball, especially on those short to intermediate passes. They're not floating, they're darting. That's not necessarily his usual game. He's always been more about timing and rhythm than pure arm strength. But if he's adding this to his repertoire, then you're looking at a player who's not content to stay in his lane. He's evolving, and that's huge. Whether or not he's making every throw in June is almost beside the point. What matters is the intent. Is he working on weaknesses? Is he expanding his range? Is he setting himself up to take another leap come September? From everything we've seen, the answer is yes. Now let's pivot to what might end up being the biggest under-the-radar story of the offseason. Fourth-round pick CJ West is starting to make real noise, and not just locally. CBS Sports analyst Chris Trapasso, in a national feature, highlighted several non-first-round rookies he believes are primed to make an impact in 2025. One of the names at the top of his list? You guessed it, San Francisco's own CJ West, a defensive tackle who's already drawing comparisons to some of the top run defenders in the draft class. Trapasso even went so far as to say West was as advanced a run stuffer as there was in the entire 2025 class. Think about that. A fourth-round pick being talked about like he should have gone in the first or second. At 6'1", 315 pounds, West isn't your typical massive interior presence, but his quickness and power combo is what sets him apart. The guy ran a 4.95 at the combine. For a player of that size, that's no joke. And when you put on the tape, you see it: explosive get-off, heavy hands, disciplined gap control. The 49ers didn't just stumble into a role player here. They may have landed a starting caliber interior lineman in the middle rounds of the draft. And look, this wasn't an accident. San Francisco clearly made it a priority to improve the run defense this offseason. 3 of their draft picks were defensive linemen. All 3 posted Pro Football Focus run defense grades over 82 last season. CJ West led the group with a ridiculous 88.1. That's elite territory. It wasn't just about last year's run defense being below average. It was near the bottom of the league, 28th overall with a grade of just 54.6. That's not just bad. That's a liability. The kind of thing that can derail a playoff run or cost you a season. So West isn't just a bonus. He's potentially a core piece of fixing a glaring weakness. And if he can contribute as a pass rusher too, even better. He's got twitch, he's got burst, and he can stay on the field for all 3 downs. That's rare. That's the kind of versatility that wins you games in January. Switching gears again, because this is just how loaded this week has been, we got some incredibly encouraging updates on the injury front. Pro Football Focus recently released a piece about the most optimistic storyline for each NFL team heading into the season. For the 49ers, it wasn't a new player or a schematic change. It was simple: health. That's the biggest cause for optimism in the Bay Area right now. Last season, only 4 offensive starters played all 17 games. That's brutal. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Trent Williams all missed significant time. The defensive line was a revolving door of backups by season's end. It was the kind of injury luck that no team can overcome, not even one with as much top-end talent as the Niners. But now, the stars are returning. The depth is being rebuilt. The vibes are completely different. Christian McCaffrey himself took the podium and talked about how this offseason has allowed him to reset physically and mentally. He called it a chance to build from scratch, to go through rehab and get his body right again. And most importantly, he didn't miss a single day of OTAs. That's the kind of mindset you want from your best players. Not just showing up, but leading by example. He could have taken days off. Nobody would have questioned it. But he didn't. He approached this period like it was training camp, and that tells you everything about where his head is at. There's more, too. Brandon Ayuk was spotted in conversation with none other than Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, and Terrell Owens during minicamp. And according to eyewitness reports, this wasn't just a casual chat. It looked like a real conversation, a mentorship moment, maybe even a bit of pep talk. That's powerful. You've got 2 of the most respected team-first guys in franchise history, and one of the most iconic receivers of all time, potentially guiding a young star who's been navigating some contract tension. If Ayuk is truly unhappy or conflicted, there may not be a better trio to help him work through it. These are guys who've been through it all. They've worn the jersey, they've felt the pressure, and they've found ways to thrive. There's no downside to that kind of interaction, only upside. And yes, we have to talk about the kicker situation. It's real, it's happening, and it might be more of a competition than people expected. Jake Moody has had the job, but Greg Joseph came in and went 7 for 7 in mandatory minicamp, hitting from distances all the way up to 55 yards. That's a statement. Now, nobody's trying to make this into some massive controversy. It's June. These kicks are expected to go in. But if one guy is perfect and the other isn't, and that pattern repeats, you better believe the coaching staff is watching. Brent Boyer, the new special teams coordinator, isn't going to hand anyone anything. This is going to be a battle, and rightly so. Look, the reality is that Jake Moody still has the inside track. He was a 3rd-round pick. The team invested in him, and he has the physical tools. But what's always been in question is the mental side. Can he handle the pressure? Can he bounce back from a miss with the game on the line? That's what this competition is really about. You want him to win the job because he earned it, not just because he was drafted high. And if he can prove that, then you've got yourself a real asset at a position where consistency matters more than anything. So here we are, just over 40 days away from training camp. The roster battles are heating up. The veterans are healthy. The rookies are flashing. The vibes are good. This doesn't feel like a team carrying the weight of last season's disappointment. It feels like a group ready to reset, refocus, and reload for another run. And when you consider all the storylines, the return of McCaffrey and Williams, the emergence of CJ West, the development of Brock Purdy, the subtle but significant moves behind the scenes, you get the sense that the 49ers are building something real, something sustainable, something dangerous. And honestly, we haven't even gotten into some of the most intriguing position battles yet. Wide receiver depth, offensive line rotations, linebacker snaps, there's so much more to come. We're entering that time of year where every day feels like a step closer to real football. No more speculation, no more hypotheticals, just the grind of camp, the clarity of pads popping, and the slow reveal of what this roster is really made of. It's coming. And if this offseason has shown us anything, it's that this version of the San Francisco 49ers might just be the most quietly dangerous one yet. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could become one of the most explosive twists of the NFL offseason, whispers out of San Francisco suggest that Nick Bosa, the defensive cornerstone of the 49ers, may be looking for a way out. A reportedly leaked conversation between Bosa and his agent has set social media ablaze and left the 49ers faithful reeling with speculation, disbelief, and even a touch of betrayal. According to the leaked exchange, Bosa has grown increasingly frustrated behind the scenes, though the exact reasons remain unclear. Some insiders hint at lingering dissatisfaction with the team's direction or unresolved issues regarding locker room dynamics. Others point to contract-related tensions, despite Bosa having signed a massive extension not long ago. Could he be feeling underappreciated? Is he eyeing a fresh start elsewhere? While no official statement has been made by Bosa, his camp, or the 49ers, the nature of the leaked conversation has fans and analysts alike reading between every line. Phrases such as exploring options and need to think about the future are reportedly among the comments that sparked the firestorm. The fact that such a private exchange made its way into the public sphere only intensifies the mystery and raises the question, was it a genuine leak or a strategic move? The 49ers organization has, for now, remained tight-lipped. Team insiders are scrambling to assess the credibility of the rumors, while also trying to gauge the impact on an already intense offseason. For a player of Bosa's caliber, a former Defensive Player of the Year, and a crucial part of the team's identity, even the hint of a departure sends shockwaves through the NFL landscape. As of now, it's all whispers and murmurings. But if this story has legs, expect a media frenzy and potentially a blockbuster trade that could reshape the balance of power in the league. One thing is certain. In the NFL, where smoke often leads to fire, all eyes are now on Nick Bosa. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.